choose the right agency? Now, if you're working with a consultant like RG Adoption Consulting, then we give you, based on your criteria and the criteria of the agency, we have a whole matching system, filtering system. We will give you a list of agencies that we think could be a good match for you. Now, they won't always, but it's a really good start. We never want someone to just sign up with an agency that you haven't connected with yourself. This is a personal decision. So we have everybody call them up, and ultimately you want to talk to them and see who you feel connected to.
Welcome to the Adoption Roadmap Podcast, your go-to guide through the beautiful, complex, and transformative journey of adoption. I'm Rebecca Gruenspan, a single mom through adoption consultant for over a decade, author of the Adoption Roadmap book, and your trusted guide. In each episode, we dive into real experiences, expert insights, and the raw, honest truths that you will need to navigate your journey. Whether you're just beginning, in the thick of it, or well past placement, you'll find support and community here to help you navigate this unique path with confidence and love. Adoption isn't all rainbows and butterflies. It is life-changing and worth every bit of effort. Let's learn, grow, and journey together on the Adoption Roadmap Podcast.
Are you ready? Let's do this. Good morning. Good Friday morning. I hope you are all doing well this morning. I haven't even taken a sip of water and my water bottle's empty. So we will be doing that. But first, I want to pick a new card. Last week, if you were with us, I picked I Can Learn New and Positive Habits. And I have been already. So let's put that one back and reach into my handy dandy positive affirmation card set. All right, let's see. What card will it be? And stop. I am smart enough to make good decisions. These are so good. You'd probably sing it backwards if you're watching. I'm smart enough to make good decisions. Okay, that's my affirmation for the coming until next Friday. So I will focus on that. All right, so what about that first episode in season 2 of the Adoption Roadmap? That was a doozy, huh? With Simon Ben. He goes deep, sometimes deeper than I can follow, but you know, it's all good. I think he was really great, and he himself has a thriving podcast. Get it? It's called Thriving Adoptees. So it was nice to have him on. I always love to highlight other adoption podcasts. So hopefully you learn from him too and go check his podcast out as well. All right, what's been going on this week in adoption? Well, situations are starting to roll in again. Most of the people who were matched last year adopted. So my board is pretty light right now. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. We have 8 families who are matched. I expect another 1 or 2 to come in any day now. And situations are starting to roll in. So that's exciting. All right, what has my community been talking about? Well, first of all, one of our clients or a couple of our clients ask often, how do you choose the right agency? How do you choose the right agency? Now, if you're working with a consultant like RG Adoption Consulting, then we give you, based on your criteria and the criteria of the agency, we have a whole matching system, filtering system. We will give you a list of agencies that we think could be a good match for you. Now, they won't always, but it's a really good start. We never want someone to just sign up with an agency that you haven't connected with yourself. This is a personal decision and one that's gonna, you're gonna be working with them closely. So we have everybody call them up, and ultimately you want to talk to them and see who you feel connected to. You are working with people, right? And sometimes it might be worth getting over a connection that you feel or not based on solely because of their stats or whatever. Maybe your personalities don't line up or mesh exactly. You'll be able to kind of gut check that for yourself and see what decision is best for you. But ultimately, call them, talk to them, ask them questions. What do they have to say? Is it aligning with your values of what you are looking for in working with an agency? Now remember, many agencies are not there to support you and hold your hand through the process. So if that is what you are looking for, if you are looking for that kind of guidance, I would recommend you be working with a consultant as well, because that's what our role is. A lot of the agencies don't have time for that. Some of them are better than others at that. Some of them, they place more value in working with their families, but mostly they're focused on their expectant mamas, which is what we want. So working with a consultant in that way alone can give you a lot of feeling of support through this process. And if you think you're not going to need it, think again. You will. You will. It's not an easy process. So go with your gut. Get the expert opinions of the team that you have put in place, call them, and see what your connection is, as well as looking at the data.
Before we go on, we're going to take a quick break, but don't go away. We still have so much to talk about. Hey there, Adoption Roadmap fam. Are you ready to take the next step on your journey to parenthood? If so, head over to our website and take our quiz. It's called, Are You Ready to Adopt? It's not just about testing your knowledge. It's about making sure you're emotionally and practically prepared for the beautiful, complex journey of adoption. Let's make your dream of parenthood a reality. Go to rgadoptionconsulting.com and take the Are You Ready to Adopt quiz today. That's rgadoptionconsulting.com. The quiz is free, and it will let you know where you are in the process and if you're ready to jump into your adoption journey.
All right, somebody in our community was talking about setting up a nursery prior to the baby being born, knowing full well that it could fall through. Here's what she said. We started setting up the nursery today. Baby is due in March, though mom has a history of delivering early. We had to start for practical reasons, but we're also excited and having mixed emotions, worrying about a fall through. How do you temper the worry? I don't want to worry her into existence, but I also want to be realistic that nothing is guaranteed. I'm sure part of it comes from a history of loss, but I'm so conflicted. Nursery or no nursery ahead of time, what do you do? Well, let's see what the trusted RG adoption client community had to say. One said, I got the nursery set up, but didn't focus as much on it being for the one particular baby I was matched with, i.e. I decorated it in a neutral color, and also though I was matched with a neutral color, even though I was matched with a boy. I ended up having disruptions and ultimately brought my perfect daughter home to the nursery. It was a journey that wasn't always easy, but I would do it again in 1,000 times over to end up with her. Somebody said, I second this. We went through the whole adoption process expecting that we would bring home a baby eventually. We set up the nursery, had a baby shower, pretty much anything you'd do if you were expecting before we were ever even matched. Oh, that's interesting. You'll bring a sweet baby home, whether it's through this match or another. I know it's so hard to reconcile that though. So that's interesting because I'm often conflicted about having a baby shower once you're matched, because what happens if you go through this whole baby shower and then it falls through? However, and if you're prepared for that, great. But I think that's probably harder, but interesting that this person had a shower before being matched letting people know that they were starting the adoption process, getting ready for that, and not giving anyone else the expectation of, oh, we're matched and our expectant mom is due on this day. That might be a little easier. That's interesting. Someone said, and we're talking about setting up the nursery ahead of time. Someone said, this was so hard for me. I had been chosen twice and both times were navigated differently. The first time I was so excited and set up the baby's room and told everyone all about it. I didn't worry too much until the very end when it was a fall through. The second time was very different. I just went along with the process, being hopeful and still excited, but also sort of numb. I did not set the room back up. I did not really prepare until I came home with my daughter. I think you have to find a balance, which is hard. Find the joy in this time and be hopeful. One of the things I always tell my clients, this is me speaking now, when you get matched is to be excited and celebrate and do a dance with one foot planted firmly on the ground. The worry will be there because nothing in this process of waiting is for sure. I focused my time on the expectant mama because she was going to become my family too. It helped me to focus on who she is and not so much on the baby. It helped for me. Now we have a very close relationship, the mom and her. Somebody said, I did not set up the nursery, just made sure I had things. The baby lived in my room for the first year anyway. Another person said, I gathered items that weren't attached to any specific baby. So I got things from certain groups online for free, or people gave them to her. She gathered clothes for girls and boys, again, not being attached in case it didn't go through. One person said, I was extreme. I had absolutely nothing. I mean, I didn't even have a car seat until after papers were signed. No clothes, not even a onesie. After he was born, we went shopping and got him some basics. Then, while we were in the state we were in waiting to go home, my sister got a lot of stuff for me for free on Facebook, and a month later, I had my baby showers. It all worked out fine. I want to read one last comment here because I thought it was really, there was a lot of advice. One person said, you gain nothing by keeping yourself from being hopeful and excited. I love that. My older daughter recently schooled me on this. She reminded me that worrying about something bad that could happen does not make it any easier if it does happen. It's okay to be ready and excited. That baby room will have the baby that is meant to be yours, whether it's now or another time. I love that perspective. I love all the perspectives. I'm Jewish, and there is a Jewish, in Yiddish it's called a Baba Misa, which is a superstition. And there's a superstition about setting up the baby's nursery before you bring the baby home. And I had the basics, like I knew which room it was going to be. And I had some people who were going to do things in the room after I knew I had adopted my son. But I did not set anything up. I didn't have a shower. I didn't do any of that. I don't know if that's still a superstition as much as it was for me when I was growing up or whatever. It was just something I learned. So everybody has different feelings about it. It's never right or wrong. Now you're hearing a lot of comments about the right baby will be in there. And you might be thinking, but what if it never happens? I guess that's a possibility. And kind of back to what this last person said, I never go there. I think it always is a possibility. And I believe if you don't give up, it will happen. Now, it also depends on how much you can endure and how strong you are. And I think you're really, really strong. So set up the nursery, don't set up the nursery. Whatever feels right for you. Go with your gut, which is what we were also talking about when choosing the right agency that you want to work with. Go with your gut. Give them a call. What did you connect on? Do they align with your values? Also, and I can't remember if we talked about this or not, but another thing that came up is I have a family that's going to visit. Actually, it's the same one that's setting up the nursery. I have a family who's going to visit the expectant mama that chose them this weekend, actually, and was asking things like, well, how long should the visit be? What should we do? I asked her what her plans were, and she said, well, other than maybe a lunch or dinner with the agency, we're not really sure. And my advice to her was have something planned. You don't have to do it, but have a couple ideas in your back pocket. Are you going to go to paint pottery? Are you going to go bowling? A movie might not be the best thing. Is there an indoor play area or a park that you can go to outside? Does she have children? Does she not have children? Have a couple of ideas packed away because you don't want to put all that pressure on her. You can give her some ideas. Also, maybe find out what she likes, and maybe that can give you some ideas, or ask the agency. They should be able to give you some ideas as well. So have some of that in your back pocket. And I do want to mention that so many of our questions in our community have to do with situations that we all deal with post-adoption. And so I want to let you know again, as I did last week, that we are working really hard to put some of the finishing touches on our post-adoption membership community that we will be launching in the next few months. That is our hope. So if you are interested in getting in at the ground level, it will be, once we launch, it will be at the lowest price point that it will ever be again. So if you are interested in learning about the Adoption Continuum Collective, if you're interested in learning more about it, if you're interested in being one of the first to be part of this group and help shape it and help learn about all the things you need to know to be a great parent for your child, especially when you're struggling with things. Or if you just want to know what are the developmental milestones that I should be looking for as it pertains to our child's adoption journey as well, then message me wherever you can message me. Comment about the podcast. You can comment on social, email support@RG Adoption Consulting, and just let us know you'd like to be in the know about the Adoption Continuum Collective, our post-adoption support group. You can also just comment post-adoption. We will make sure that you are one of the first to know. Give us your email and we'll make sure you get the communications. All right. Mama needs a drink of water and I need to walk the dog. So I'm going to go. Have a great weekend. I will talk to you next week. Same time, same place. Bye for now.
Well, I hope you enjoyed that episode of the Adoption Roadmap podcast. If you did, I have a few favors to ask of you. First, please hit subscribe so you never miss an episode. And while you're at it, I'd love to hear your takeaways. Please write a review and let me know what you liked. And if you have a question or a suggestion on what you'd like to hear, I'd love to hear that too. Please shoot me an email at support@rgadoptionconsulting.com and let me know what you'd like to hear about. And if you have a question, I may just answer it online. Thanks again for listening. Tune in every Wednesday and Friday morning for a brand new episode of the Adoption Roadmap podcast. Until next time, bye-bye.